In a significant policy shift, Israel's Knesset voted on October 28, 2024, to approve 2 laws barring the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA, from operating within Israel's borders and greatly limiting its activities in Gaza and the West Bank. UNRWA has long been active in Palestinian territories, providing essential services to millions of Palestinians across Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. However, recent developments have placed the agency under intense scrutiny with allegations that some of its staff members have connections to Hamas. Israel's recent decision marks a new low in its fraught relationship with UNRWA, which has long faced criticism from Israeli officials who claim that its infrastructure and personnel have been exploited by militant groups operating within Palestinian territories. Under the new Israeli legislation, UNRWA would be prohibited from conducting any activity within Israeli territory. This effectively ends the agency's operations in Jerusalem and other areas with Palestinian populations under Israeli jurisdiction. The second law, which severs diplomatic ties between Israel and UNRWA, further limits the agency's ability to operate within Gaza and the West Bank, where it plays a critical role in the lives of Palestinians reliant on its services. The recent vote is rooted in allegations that UNRWA staff were complicit in the October 7, 2023, Hamas attack on Israel, which initiated the current phase of the Gaza conflict. According to Israeli officials, numerous UNRWA staff members are suspected of ties to Hamas and other militant organizations. Additionally, Israeli intelligence has reportedly uncovered evidence of Hamas using UNRWA facilities for military purposes. An IDF report in February revealed that Hamas had established a subterranean data center directly beneath UNRWA's Gaza headquarters, and ongoing operations have allegedly exposed UNRWA schools and health clinics being used as command centers, weapons depots, and even staging grounds for attacks. Despite the ongoing humanitarian aid and education services UNRWA provides, Israeli lawmakers supporting the recent legislation argue that UNRWA's operations have facilitated militant activities. They point to recent evidence of a high-ranking Hamas commander employed by UNRWA who was reportedly involved in a violent attack on October 7th. These allegations, alongside reported incidents of Hamas members exploiting UNRWA's infrastructure for strategic gain, have led Israel to demand significant accountability measures from the UN body. Although the recent laws have not yet come into effect, Israel's stance is expected to influence UNRWA's operations. In response to mounting allegations, UNRWA dismissed 9 employees in 2024 after an internal investigation. The agency, however, has consistently denied knowingly supporting armed groups, claiming it has taken measures to prevent militant exploitation of its facilities. Nevertheless, the backlash from the Israeli government and allegations of Hamas connections have led major international donors, including the United States and several European countries, to reconsider their funding commitments. For Israel, a key concern is that educational facilities operated by UNRWA have allegedly served as hotbeds of anti-Israel sentiment and sites for terrorist activities. According to Israeli sources, over 10% of UNRWA's Gaza staff are suspected of links to armed factions, and UNRWA schools have reportedly been used by Hamas to store weapons and launch attacks. Furthermore, during the October 7th conflict, civilians reported seeing UNRWA-labeled bags filled with materials essential for building militant infrastructure, including explosives. Since the escalation of the current Gaza conflict, Israeli forces have repeatedly discovered weapons caches and command centers hidden within UNRWA schools and clinics. In response to these findings, Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, have targeted these locations as part of their broader strategy to eliminate militant strongholds within Gaza. However, these actions have fueled criticism from international human rights advocates who argue that the presence of military operations within civilian infrastructure endangers the Palestinian population reliant on UNRWA services. The recent decision to restrict UNRWA's role within Israel and the occupied territories reflects a broader security strategy Israel has adopted against Hamas and its supporters. By severing diplomatic relations with UNRWA, Israel aims to curb potential militant activities in Gaza and the West Bank. While the Israeli government remains firm in its stance, citing security concerns and allegations of terrorism, the UN and international donors must now weigh the implications of Israel's claims and the subsequent limitations placed on UNRWA. As the agency grapples with these restrictions, it must also confront the growing scrutiny over its operations and staff.